Hello and welcome to my local woods here. This is just down the road from me. I've done a few videos here before and I thought I would come down today. This was a bit of an impromptu video today because this was a bit of an impromptu video today because we've got this absolutely spectacular fog today. I woke up this morning and it was really nice, and I was expecting the fog to disappear by the time I had a chance to come out this afternoon and do this. So I thought I'd nip down my local woods and practice a little bit of woodland. I may have said in previous videos that woodland is probably not my best area, and it's an area that I really struggle with. But one of the great things about this woods is because I spent because it's only literally down the road from me, and I've spent so much time here, not only photographing but as a child I used to come down here an awful lot, so it's a place that I know very well. So I know little areas and little compositions that I could choose here. But obviously the one thing you find with woodland is that it changes so much in just over 12 months. And I'll be honest with you, I've not been down here probably for a good 6 or 8 months. It's probably the beginning of last year when I came down here. So today's a little bit impromptu, a little bit a little bit off the cuff, and I just thought to come and practice a little bit of woodland and see if we can get better at it. So what I'll do is I'll get obviously everything set up, and I'll see you in a moment. This first composition here, I've spotted this really odd shaped tree here in between two. It's flagged by 2 other trees. I'm probably going to get slaughtered on my tree names because I've got no idea of what different trees, but I do know that one's a silver birch over there because I can tell with the colour, but I couldn't tell you which tree was what type of tree it is, so it's going to be a tree. Yeah, so what I've done with this composition here is I'm using the 2 trees on either side to flag this very unusual looking tree that's obviously slightly it's on the side of the bank, so it's actually growing at a slight angle. Yeah, so these 2 trees here make a nice frame for the gnarly looking tree, and the one thing that really spotted me out is that the tree's got a lot of moss on it, so it's making it very green, so it does really make it stand out. So what I've done for this shot is I've set it on a square crop. So if you can see on the camera here, I've got it actually set to a square crop. One of the great things you can do with these modern cameras is actually change the crop on the screen so you can see what crop photograph you're actually going to get, and it's a very good technique to use. So I've changed it to a square crop, and this is the shot I can see here. So what I'll do is I'll take the shot and I'll pop it up on the screen for you now. for this final composition here, I'm using these 3 or maybe 4 trees that are in front of me here. I think I don't know what it is about them, but they're really standing out to me. They're long and thin, and they've got a lot of moss on them, so they're nice. They've got a bit of green to them, so they're really standing out to me. So what I've done for this shot is I've gone to a 16:9 crop. I've put it on my camera here, switched it over to a 16:9 crop just to help me compose it better. And all I'm doing is just running there's 3 trees through the middle of the composition from the bottom to the top, and obviously the trees behind it are getting very foggy, and I think the fog's getting thicker as it's going darker, which is helping with the composition, because it's putting a bit of depth and a bit of mystery in between the background, the tree with these front trees and the trees that are further behind. So I think that's really helping the composition. What I've been doing for these shots today is the one thing the tendency you can have when shooting in woodland, and also obviously in the fog, it can fill the camera somewhat. So especially my camera, the Olympus, it does tend to overexpose it a little bit. So what I've been doing is I've been dialing the exposure down by maybe 1 stop on the camera, just to darken it down a bit. So, and obviously it's bringing up a bit more definition in the trees, because the one thing I'm finding is that by using the default exposure on the camera, is that the bits in the sky are coming very overexposed, and obviously blending out of the image. So I've been underexposing it. So what I'll do is obviously I'll take the shot, I'll pop it up on the screen, and I'll show you now. Yeah, so that's the shot done. What I tend to do with some of my woodland shots is I apply a technique called the Orton effect. It's been done in various tutorials and videos all over YouTube. I'll link to the one that I use. It's a technique by Nick Page. It's a technique that I've used quite often, and I do think it adds a nice dreamy, ethereal look to woodland photography. I know it's not a thing for everybody, but it is something that I enjoy doing. So what I'll do is I'll pop that link down in there. You can go off and watch it, and hopefully you'll find that tutorial useful, and it'll give you a little bit of a background as to how I do my images. So yeah, so I think what I'm going to do now is I'm obviously going to call the vlog a day today. It is going dark and it's going quite foggy here, so it might be a struggle to get out of the woods. So what I'll do is I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to go and get home and get myself warm and get myself a warm drink, and hopefully I'll see you next time. But don't forget to leave a comment, and if you want to subscribe, please subscribe below. Leave me a like if you want to do so, and I'll see you again sometime.